It has been 3 months ago already that I left St. Lucia, but all my memories from St. Lucia feel like if they happened yesterday. When I arrived in St. Lucia, I didn't know what happened to me. I was exhausted, sweaty and overwhelmed. I was in St. Lucia. St. Lucia, finally. I, Emma, travelled on my own to a country that far from home without anyone that I knew. After I finally found the bus driver, I drove with Rebecca, William, Matthew and Thomas to their accommodation. It was like if I lived in a bubble for the following days. It took 2 days before I started to realise that it wasn't that scary to live with non-Dutch speakers in an island far from home without my family and my friends. At the beginning of my trip to St. Lucia, I didn't dare to say anything. I was terrified that people wouldn't understand me or that they would make fun of me. It sounds mental to me now. Joelle and especially Alice made me realise that there was no reason to be afraid to speak in English. Nor that I wasn't nervous or insecure anymore, but during the weeks I started to feel more used to it to speak English instead of Dutch. I could say what I wanted without becoming red or starting mumbling. Speaking Dutch with the other Dutchies felt as a break. In St. Lucia I learned how to live by myself. I wasn't used to it to live without my parents. When I went to the USA in 2019, I was separated from my parents, but I was there with many scouts, my brother and Dutch troop leaders who I knew for many years, so that wasn't the same. I had to fly on my own, I had to buy my own groceries. My parents were far away from me, or better said, I was far away from them. I was independent. Of course I had Joelle and I had many other housemates, but it doesn't mean that I didn't learn how to manage the adult life. Sometimes I felt like if I was Smithy in the books. Emma goes to the medical clinic to do a COVID test. Emma goes to the eye clinic to buy new glasses. Emma tries Marmite. Thanks to Alice for nearly letting me vomit. Besides that, there were a lot of times that I struggled with things like culture shocks, complex situations with my ex-boyfriend, having to be strict to children and homesickness. I had a wonderful time in St. Lucia. It was amazing to teach sports classes. I loved it to learn rugby. Before I went to St. Lucia, I didn't have a clue what it was. Yeah, I knew what a rugby ball was, but I didn't have any knowledge about sport. Rugby wasn't that easy at the beginning, but after a few sessions I realised that I loved it. I was in love with the sessions at Mossy. Alice and William taught me the basics and my skills improved during the weeks. Also the funny moments with Apple were lovely. She was so sweet and we always had fun with each other. After the last rugby session, I started to cry because I realised that I wanted to play rugby again. If I could, I would play rugby in the Netherlands as well, but sadly enough, I don't have enough time to play it here. Well, I bought a rugby ball so I can practice it in my garden, but I don't want to stop with playing sports at the gym. The situation in St. Lucia was perfect. I really loved it to go with William to the gym and after our workouts to walk with him to the bus stop to drive to Mossy. I was delighted that Joelle was my supervisor. He gave me many chances to do what I wanted to do. During the first days, I felt quite insecure. I wasn't used to big sports like rugby, netball and cricket. How could I teach sports that I didn't know? Joelle asked me what kind of sports I loved to play. When I said that I loved it to go to the gym, to swim and to do yoga, he gave me the space to practice and teach them. Giving the swimming classes was one of my favourite activities in St. Lucia. Fleur, Puck, Nienke, Jasmine and I assisted Coach Evelyn and Coach Diane with teaching very young children how to swim. It wasn't always easy to teach them. Sometimes they didn't listen and it made me doubt about myself and my skills. Evelyn always supported me. I'm very grateful that I was always alone to assist her. In St. Lucia I realised how important it is to listen to my own mind and my body. It was not always easy to listen to what I needed. I could be very strict to myself, even me. If I did something wrong, I could be very angry at myself. Also rugby. I felt frustrated that I wasn't that good in playing rugby as Alice, William and the other English people were. That's not strange because we don't really play rugby in the Netherlands and that's something that made me and Alice and William were the people who made me realise that. Alice and I spent much time together. Alice is like a sister to me. Once in 2 weeks we had our girls' nights. Those evenings meant that we cooked together, ate dinner, drank wine, wore face masks, watched movies and had conversations together. I cannot describe how much I miss those moments. Alice is a sister that I didn't know I had. I love her and I cannot wait to see her again. A big thanks to you, Joelle, Alice, Cameron, Rebecca and all the others for the most wonderful time in my life.